Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the 333, sticking with the three thing, 3rd of March at 3 p.m. Three biggest mistakes PPCs make masterclass. Now we're going to get started in a couple of minutes here. I know a couple of you are probably joining. There'll be a lot of people piling in right now. We've had a ton of people on the wait list, a ton of people sign up to the event. So yeah, really, really excited to see all of you here today. But with that said, I should probably start off by admitting a little secret to you guys. And following on from the theme of secrets, I should really share this one secret with you before we start. So, what you're seeing right now is actually pre-recorded. I know, I'm kind of shattering the illusion here, but don't worry, the real me is sitting in the chat, whether that's over there or down here, probably with a coffee in hand and probably still with his PPC Profit Club hat on, ready to hang out with you guys. And this was the best way I found. I haven't quite figured out how to clone myself yet, how to put myself in two situations yet at the same time, although that would be pretty cool, right, for Google Ads management, but I quite haven't figured that out yet. So this is the best I could come up with for you guys, where this is a pre-recorded segment and I'm going to, Tomasz here, Tomasz1 maybe, is going to deliver the content in the slides, and then the other Tomasz is going to be in the live chat, hanging out with you guys, and yeah, seeing what's up. So just wanted to get that secret out the way, so you're under no illusion. Although yeah, it is a pretty cool thing how I can be in two places at once, right? If only I could clone myself, right? That would be cool. But yeah, this is the next best thing until the cloning technology exists. This is going to be the next best thing. So pre-recorded me delivering this content, and then real me hangs out with you in the chat live. And really, it's like having two Tomashes for the price of one, right? So yeah, don't complain. So if you, just to be clear, if you see me here talking while also responding in the chat, no, that's not me being in two places at once, cloning myself. That's just, how we've set it up today. So it would be cool though, right? It would be a pretty valuable skill for Google Ads management to be in two places at once. And hopefully I can share some tips today that will help you to get as close to that as possible in reality today. So first question, guys. Where are you all from? Drop your flags in the country. Drop your country flags in the chat. Would love to see where you're from. I know one of the coolest things about Google Ads and the whole PPC community is it's absolutely worldwide. And yeah, I always find it super interesting running ads in different countries. I run ads, in Europe, in even Japan. I've run ads in the US, all over Europe. Like so many different languages over the years. Done a couple of audits recently, actually, as well, in Polish. So yeah, if you didn't know, I am half Polish. So my name is Tomasz Abbott-Wieczorek. Abbott is the English part and Wieczorek is the Polish part. I'm half Polish, half English, and 100% Google Ads. Had to just chuck that one in there because it's always on my mind. But so I've done quite a few audits recently in Polish, which has been super fun. I can read quite a bit of Polish, but I can't really speak that much. I'm kind of working on it. This is one of my personal development goals for this year. So yeah, you can keep me accountable on that one, because I get a ton of messages on LinkedIn in Polish. I get a ton of also voice notes in Polish, which is really funny because I can't understand half of it. But I still love working with Polish clients. And yeah, with the help of all the cool things today, like AI, you can actually translate things pretty easily compared to even a few years ago. So yeah, we're living in a great time. It's a crazy time to be alive, right? So we're going to wait a couple of minutes here just for everyone to come in. As I said, we've got a couple of hundred people here. If you're just joining me now, I just wanted to mention that this part is pre-recorded, but still stick around till the end because I do have a surprise for you, which is going to be super exciting to reveal. The real me. So this part is pre-recorded. delivering the content for you. And then the real me is going to be in the chat, hanging out with you guys live today on 33333. Cool. So I hope we have a good group by now. I've given you guys a couple of minutes to come in. So let's get started, shall we? So let me take it away with the main presentation. All right. So, hey everyone, welcome to today's masterclass, 33333. So, Tomasz here. My name's Tomasz Abbott-Wieczorek. If you don't already know me, if you don't already follow me on LinkedIn, I'm a Google Ads specialist and I will be delivering the masterclass for you today. Super excited to share these secrets with you because you're probably here because you've maybe hit a point in your Google Ads journey where something feels maybe off, right? You're putting in the hours, you're staying up to date with every platform change, which there's a ton of them now, right? And you're doing everything right? But you're still not seeing the results that you really want. You're still struggling with clients. You're still really stressed out all the time, right? So the tips I'm going to share with you today, the secrets I'm going to share with you today come from me coaching hundreds of Google Ads specialists over the last few years and my decade in the game and auditing over $1 billion in Google Ads spend. So I'm really just spilling all the beans today and really showing you exactly what's going to move the needle for you and not just sharing like some fluffy tips. Like every tip today, every secret is going to have an actionable takeaway, something you can actually implement today and really change your career and help you grow. So the thing is, the breakthrough for me came when I realized something really crucial, right? Technical skills alone don't create top 1% Google Ads specialists. It's really the mindset shifts that separate the top 1% from every other Google Ads specialist. And today I'm going to be pulling back the curtain on exactly what those are. So, who am I and why should you listen to me? This is kind of the humble brag part of the masterclass. So I've audited over $1 billion in Google Ads spend across virtually every industry, right? I've been in the game almost a decade now. I've worked with crazy big clients, which you've probably seen, and a lot that you'll have in your fridge and your cupboard. I've built one of the most recognizable PPC LinkedIn brands, personal brands. And I also managed to visit over 30 countries in my 20s while scaling my business to new heights. Digital nomad, super cool. Like, highly recommend it if you're not traveling already, and you have the freedom to do so. So, my journey, right? I started just like many of you might be sitting there now, right? In your first few years of managing accounts, in that stressful period where you're sort of trying to work out the frameworks and systems. I actually began earning £3 an hour, right? Which is crazy to believe, but it's true. I started like a apprenticeship, we call it here in the UK. It's basically a training program where you have some academic part where you do some qualifications, but then you mostly work, right? It's only 1 day a month where you're doing the training and then 29-ish days a month where you're working basically as a Google Ads specialist. I started an agency managing a bunch of accounts and earning £3 or $5 an hour almost a decade ago now. And ever since then, through the years, I've faced burnout, client churn, pricing pressure, despite knowing that I'm really sick at Google Ads, despite knowing that I have great technical skills. I really struggled to build the frameworks and systems to actually allow me to scale, have more freedom and reduce my stress ultimately, because I know that's something that I struggle with. I know that's something that a lot of PPC specialists struggle with as well. So what am I doing now? Well, when I had that breakthrough, when I discovered these mindset shifts that I'm going to share with you today, they really transformed my approach to PPC. And after not just proving them for myself, but also using them with hundreds of PPCs over the last few years, in my coaching and in my community, I've seen them work over and over again. And that's where I'm so confident in sharing them with you today, and so confident that they'll deliver results for you as well. So what am I doing now? Well, I'm leading a community, PPC Profit Mastermind, of elite specialists while traveling the world, still being a digital nomad and having my freedom. So you might feel like this little guy on the right? You're probably drowning in client demands. You might be juggling multiple accounts, urgent client requests, and pressure to deliver immediate results. We're all racing against platform changes, probably exhausted from keeping up with endless Google Ads updates, new features, and best practices. And you're fighting to prove your value. And this is a really hard part, right? Struggling to justify fees and retain clients. Maybe you are delivering solid results, right? But it's really hard still to keep those clients and grow those clients. And it kind of leads to this uncertainty and stress, right? So what are you going to learn today? Well, we're going to go over 3 main mindset shifts, right? Number 1, the roadmap mindset. Number 2, the community mindset. And number 3, the fundamentals first mindset. And these are all, as I mentioned, actionable frameworks that you can implement immediately to transform your results. They're not going to be some fluffy fluff piece, for want of a better word, right? It's going to be actionable and something you can actually implement today. So, mindset shift number 1, the roadmap mindset. This is just one of these crazy things that I've seen time and time again with Google Ads specialists I've worked with all the client accounts I've audited, all the clients I've worked with over the years. I just see this over and over and over again as a main point, a common mistake, right? And a shift in mindset is just so important here with roadmaps and planning and reporting, right? So the way that most specialists operate is just tweaking endlessly without direction, right? And they're having a reactive approach and their focus is really short term, right? You're flicking between accounts, you're flicking between optimizations, you're not really following any strategy, right? Now, the new way and the mindset shift I would recommend is to go towards a strategic roadmap. So having a clear direction, proactive planning, and long-term vision with measurable milestones. Now, I don't want to understate this mindset shift because I've seen this literally change everything for so many Google Ads specialists and so many client accounts, right? Literally gone from stressing, uncertain results, and just craziness and chaos to kind of peace, as close to peace as you can get with Google Ads, and great results and just a clear direction. And it just takes away so much of that stress as a Google Ads specialist, right? So with a strategic roadmap, the main thing I see people falling into, the main mistake I see people falling into is this trap of over optimization, right? I see this with pretty much every account I go into. If you ever look at change history, you just see endless tweaking, right? You just see constant adjustments without any direction of what are we trying to achieve here? What are we trying to achieve for the client? And you feel like you're probably constantly putting out fires. Your client's confused as well because they don't really know where you're heading because you don't really know where you're heading, right? You're not on the same page, which ultimately just leads to clients leaving and not great client retention. And also it's hard to get results, right? Because so much is changing in Google Ads. And if we're changing everything as well, then, how can you expect to get results if you're just changing everything constantly? It's kind of like if you plant a flower and then you just keep uprooting it, right? You keep pulling it out of the ground. Like, you can't expect any nice flowers to grow that way. So this is how I see it pretty much in all of the examples I've just mentioned. The first way, the loop that I see all the time is bid adjustments all the time, constant keywords, negative keywords being added, ad testing without strategy, constantly launching new ads, new creative. And typically this just leads to a client retention of a couple of months. And in this example here from one of my mastermind members, this client only stayed 2 months, right? When we implemented this roadmap mindset shift I'm going to share with you today, clients ended up staying more than 13 months and counting, right? So this was so cool to see because it actually works in the real world. And it's one of the most actionable mindset shifts I can give you today. And that's why I chose it, right? I really want to give you the 20% of things that are going to make 80% of the difference for you. I don't just want to chuck loads of advanced tactics at you to, make crazy decisions and crazy results and, all these sort of advanced things where they're very much the 0.0001% of results. I want to chuck the things at you that you're actually going to be able to use today to get actual results and actually shift your results and actually move the needle, right? So the roadmap approach, strategic quarterly planning, focused implementation, phases and sprints, and a structured schedule. Now, this is what I would suggest. And this is the 3-stage roadmap framework that I use with all my coaching clients, with specialists inside my community, with my clients as well, my Google Ads clients. I use this 3-stage roadmap framework. So stage 1 is to audit and to baseline, right? To really understand what is the North Star metric for your clients and just set clear goals. The real outcome, the goal of stage 1 is to really get on the same page as your client, right? Because you can't get results if your client's over here and you're over here, right? You really want to get on the same page as your client. So stage 2 is strategic implementation. So those quick wins, those high impact changes that you've identified in the audit and establishing the baseline, you then want to build the right foundations, right? So making those bigger changes like account structure, like ad messaging, like creative, right? And that's the second sort of longer part. And then stage 3 is optimizing and scaling, right? So new opportunities, those sort of extra wins once you've put in the foundations and the audit, right? Now, this might sound a little bit complicated, but it's really not. It's really not. It really doesn't have to be. And I've seen Google Ads specialists fall down with this and fall into the trap of overcomplicating roadmaps. And that's normally why I see time and time again, Google Ads specialists actually don't have a roadmap with a client, is because they try to follow some crazy advanced, complicated road mapping system. And it really doesn't have to be that way. It really can just be as simple as this example I've got up here, which is from one of my coaching clients, where we worked on a roadmap system for his clients. We identified, how his agency works, how he works with clients, and the sort of gaps and the opportunities where we can make things better with his road mapping system. And it ended up just being very, very simple. It just needs to be something that you can actually follow. That's the main thing, right? It doesn't have to be this crazy advanced, crazy complicated system with loads and loads of steps. You just need the foundations to be correct, right? And you just need it to be something that you will follow, right? So the first and most important thing in your client roadmap template will be your current performance North Star. So asking your client, what is the North Star metric? Like, what is the number or metric that the business would live or die by? And that varies a lot, business by business. One of the big mistakes I see PPCs making is just looking at ROAS in an account. And a lot of the time, a business doesn't work off ROAS, right? It can work off lifetime value. It maybe needs a certain CPA. Other clients might want a new customer CPA, right? And they're not interested in existing customers. It really depends a lot on the client and their business, right? And also how their budgets are set, really. So I would start by establishing the North Star metric, and then you can look at 30-day goals and also 90-day strategic vision. So the things that would start to come in there is like account structure, consolidation, restructuring in the account, conversion tracking, stuff like that, right? And then we would prioritize key focus areas. like some I just mentioned, and we'd have a clear measurement criteria, which basically just goes back to the foundation, right? That's why it's so important to have that one key North Star metric, right? So now we've covered the roadmap mindset shift. We're going to move on to number 2, the community mindset. Now, the old way I've seen a lot of Google Ads specialists struggle, and the way I used to struggle as well, is solo, right? I used to do isolated problem solving. I used to have a limited perspective. I had no feedback loop. And I was just sitting here staring at a screen for hundreds or thousands of hours, trying to reinvent the wheel and not really getting anywhere, just spinning my wheels, right? The new way I would suggest to you today, guys, is a collective, a community mindset, right? Sharing knowledge with other Google Ads specialists, having diverse perspectives from different accounts, from different industries, from different size accounts. That's been one of the biggest shifts for me earlier on in my career, was actually seeing accounts from, accounts that spend $500 a month to accounts that spend $500,000 a month or even more, right? And understanding the differences between that is super, super key to your growth. And also a referral network as well. Signing clients in 2025 is tough, right? Referral network is going to completely change your career and your growth. So I present to you here the solo specialist struggle. This may be something that a lot of you guys find yourself in, trying to solve the same problems others have already solved. Missing opportunities because you don't have a referral network, you don't know many other specialists that you can trust, and maybe you're getting leads for clients that you don't service and you don't know where to send them, or you don't know, who to partner up with for SEO, for email marketing, for Meta, for other channels that, you might not run. You're probably missing feedback as well, right? You're missing insights. You're missing that sparring partner, that brainstorming partner for your feedback on your accounts, right? So if you're in an account all day long, you're probably missing things. And you probably have a limited perspective, right? So you're really only seeing it from one viewpoint, not a diverse perspective, right? And you might be also struggling with imposter syndrome. I know I did, right? You questioning your abilities without external validation. So without sort of stacking your wins together with others, you're struggling to see, how much of an expert you are. You're just questioning your abilities, right? And a real world example of this solo struggle is I see this manifest a lot in the time it takes to work on client accounts and fix client challenges. So for example, if you have some keywords, you don't know where to put them in an ad group or an account. Often I see budget problems as well. I don't know, how to spend more, how to spend less, how to get more efficient. All these kind of common problems we come across in Google Ads accounts. It can take days, weeks, or months to solve them by yourself, right? Because you're just kind of rummaging around for information, and you're not really sure where to look, and you're just kind of wasting a lot of time, right? Because you're limiting it to your own personal experience. And I see this all the time when Google Ads specialists work on new accounts, and it might not even be through your own choice, right? It might be a new client that you've taken on that you thought was something, and then it turns out to be something else. It might be a new industry, a new client that you're not really that experienced with, that you're not sure, how to scale them, right? There might be in a niche that you haven't really worked in before, but you do want to work in, right? And you're just constantly second guessing your approach, right? Now, when you have a community and you have this community mindset, you really get solutions in hours, not days or weeks, right? Because you can basically distribute the problem. I like this example of a problem shared is a problem halved. Any struggles you're having, you can just ask the community, you can ask your peers, you can ask your network, right? And then you have access to this diverse expertise, right? And you'll start to get referrals. You'll start to work on clients and collaborate with other experts, right? And ultimately, it's going to get you much more confident in making decisions, right? because you'll have all that past data to back up. You'll be able to stack your wins on top of each other, and you'll know that you can actually succeed with this new challenge that you may face. So, the 3C community leverage system. The first part is around collaboration. So, working on accounts with other people, with other Google Ads specialists, and getting feedback on your strategies. I've seen this a lot with YouTube strategies, for example, with YouTube Shorts, with demand gen, with a lot of these emerging new campaign types. Of course, Performance Max. I have to mention Performance Max. It wouldn't be a Google Ads masterclass without mentioning Performance Max. And these new campaign types are hard to navigate, right? They have a lot of new features. And getting those feedbacks on strategies and hearing about how other people are getting success with these new campaigns is just completely invaluable. The second part of the community system is connections, right? So building a referral network and building strategic partnerships. So I mentioned with email marketers, with SEOs, with maybe meta advertisers if you only run on Google. And also sharing wins, solutions, and resources as well. A lot of you here will love scripts, will love, custom columns. So please share those with your community, right? So what I want you guys to do today is to build your own mini mastermind, right? And again, this is not a complicated ask. All you have to do is identify 3 to 5 people at a similar level to yourself and schedule a monthly catch-up. That's it, right? In that monthly catch-up, you can share struggles and challenges, and I've just seen this absolutely transform Google Ads specialists' lives, right? And having just that small peer group to refer clients in, it could even be something as simple as a WhatsApp chat, right? But please come together with your peers, because a problem shared is a problem halved. So moving on to the third mindset shift today, the fundamentals first mindset. The old way, and the mistake I see a lot of PPCs making, is chasing advanced tactics, complexity, skipping the foundations, and shiny object syndrome is like absolutely rampant in our industry right now. And this just makes accounts difficult to scale because you're adding so many layers of complexity on top of each other, right? The new way I would suggest, the mindset shift I would recommend, is shifting to systems, to consistent results, and to strong foundations. And this is the trap I see so many PPCs fall into, this shiny object syndrome, right? Fragile accounts, building complex systems on weak foundations that easily break. For example, building out 10 standard shopping campaigns when one Performance Max might actually do. That's all great in theory because you've seen somebody do it and you've seen somebody maybe run manual CPC. But if you don't have the time to manage that complexity, which most of us are super, super busy and don't have hours and hours and hours to test all these things, it's just going to be a dream that's just not going to work, right? You just need to be realistic with building your accounts and building them for success, right? And it's fun and it's exciting to test these advanced tactics, but if you don't have the time to actually manage them and optimize them, then there's just really no point. And also, we all have a finite amount of time, right? So always employ the 80-20 rule. Make sure that you're spending the most time on the 20% of things that get you the 80% of the results. And also a really key point here is it's impossible to delegate stuff like this. I see agency owners all the time running into this problem when they build these really complex systems, and it's not really even a system. It's just these complex advanced strategies inside accounts. And then when you try and onboard a new specialist or when you try and work with other experts, if you can't explain it easily, then things get lost in translation and then it gets even more complicated. And that chaos I just mentioned with advanced tactics is basically times by 5 or times by 10, right? And you just have full chaos. And I've seen it so many times. So real world example of this, well, I saw an example where we were running 12 campaign types, right? 12 campaigns, 12 plus campaigns. We're running a bunch of campaigns and the budgets were just spread really thin across these campaigns, right? In the name of sort of segmenting and testing performance. And we had a load of bidding rules and automations and all these layers of complexity, right? And it was returning a ROAS of about 3, right? Over a couple of months, we shifted to 3 core campaigns. We consolidated a bunch, right? And we went really back to the client with a clear business goals review, right? And we had a clean structure in the account. And we basically looked at the business goals and the business structure and then replicated that in the account. Just simply what made sense for the business. Not trying to run away with these advanced tactics and, crazy campaign splits and all this stuff. And what we saw was ROAS was 4+ over a couple of months, right? And we got really precise with the targeting, with the messaging, and what actually mattered, right? So the fundamentals first framework. This is a framework we use inside the community, and I've seen so many members see an instant boost to performance and client success when they're following this, right? Compared to having advanced tactics. The foundation is really your account structure, right? Having a clean, logical foundation. And as I mentioned, that comes from working with your client, understanding their goals, and really being on the same page as them, right? On top of that, you've got your business objectives, right? So setting the right goal at the right time. So really working with the business to understand, is it lifetime value that they want? Is it an average order value that they want? Is it a certain CPA? And then you've got creative and messaging. So really building unique ads. We have way too many AI generated ads out there. So it's actually, I think, easier than ever to stand out, right? People always say how hard Google Ads is in 2025, and I have to agree in certain areas. But when it comes to creative and messaging, actually, I think it's easier than ever to stand out in the sea of AI generated, generic, Google suggested creative and ad copy. If you write actually something unique and persuasive, I think it's going to be quite easy to stand out, right? It just needs a little bit of strategy and a system here to actually make it happen, right? And then you've got bidding and budget. So not setting budgets at the bottom, not setting budgets before you actually have set your account structure and you're creative and you know exactly what your goals are for the account. And then once we've completed all these things, then we can look at advanced testing, right? But only based on solid previous data first, right? So I see this all the time. I see this mistake all the time. And it really annoys me actually, because it's just wasting money. It's just throwing money down the drain. When you're running a test that has already been run a couple of months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, before running the test that is exciting and new and shiny, you need to be looking through the previous data in the account, looking through when were the best months, when were the worst months, what's the seasonality look like for the business, talking to your client more, understanding the business more. I know it sounds boring, but trust me, those are the things that work, not the shiny new objects and the shiny new features. Those, as I said, are just the cherry on the top of the cake. But it really matters if that cake is actually a solid cake, right? Not just something that's going to fall down as soon as you try and put something on the top. So, again, your immediate action step from this mindset shift. I told you guys this was going to be super actionable today. Conduct what I would call a fundamentals audit, right? Doesn't have to take hours, doesn't have to take days. Just have a quick review, and you can do this with a peer. You can do this with another expert. You can do this with somebody in your team. Look at your campaign structure and look at the clarity. Think, do these campaigns make sense the way we've structured them? Just very, very simply on a simple level. Don't get too in depth about, ad groups and ad copy and ads and all these sort of advanced things. Just think about, Does it make sense for the business and the goals of the business to have it structured like this? Because of course, over time, things get messy, things get chaotic. So it's just really good to draw that line in the sand and say, hey, we're just going to review what does it look like today, and then make a plan, right? Okay, it's not going to happen overnight. Restructuring campaigns and accounts takes a long time, but make a plan for that, right? Add relevance and messaging. Again, are we doing the bare minimum? Because that's what I see a lot of accounts doing. They're just throwing money away because they've got the Google suggested, AI generated, just pretty rubbish, generic headlines and descriptions, right? This is probably one of the biggest leverage areas I see where businesses can spend a little bit of time, even if you do use AI, but just spending a little bit of time to build some actually interesting, unique, and persuasive headlines and descriptions, right? And again, working with the business owner, working with the client to say, hey, they probably know the industry much better than you do, right? So asking them, hey, what are the competitors doing? Looking at competitor offers, searching for your keywords. All these sounds very basic, right? But these are the foundations that actually matter, guys. And conversion tracking integrity. Again, something that changes over time. So today, sit down, have a quick review of, are my primary and secondary objectives set? Is my enhanced conversion tracking working? Are we tracking the right things? And again, check with your client through this, right? Because I've seen it so many times when, I literally saw this the other day actually, where you're tracking form fills and the client wants to track something else on the website, or you're tracking calls and they want to be tracking form fills. You really need to understand what is important for their business and not just saying, hey, we got crazy conversions and a crazy ROAS. But if it doesn't actually translate into, actual business goals, then it doesn't really matter, right? And then budget flow. So what I call budget flow is flowing your budget into the best performing keywords, locations, campaigns. This is a really, really powerful reframe, mindset shift. This is a really powerful frame to look at accounts in. That has helped me a ton over the years to look at how can we flow more budget into the top performing campaigns, ad groups, locations, right? And this simple audit will basically reveal exactly where you need to strengthen the foundations before you add complexity and advanced tactics, right? So summing up the 3 mindset shifts we went over today. The roadmap mindset today, understanding your strategic direction with a quick and simple roadmap. The community mindset, so not struggling alone, actually sharing your problems, sharing your wins, sharing your knowledge with other collective experts. And the fundamentals first framework, so building strong foundations and accounts to ensure predictable success. And when combined, these 3 mindset shifts are the most powerful reframes that I've come across in my decade in PPC. And they will create and compound results for you and your success in Google Ads. So, how does this all shake out? How does this all sum out? Well, this is the reality if you implement these things we've gone over today. You'll go from looking at 2-year timelines to looking at couple of month timelines for growth in accounts. You'll go from trial and error learning to proven frameworks and repeatable systems every time. Boost your confidence every time. You'll go from limited perspective to expert guidance. And you'll go from no accountability to built-in accountability with the systems we just shared. Maybe the most important is you'll go from isolated challenges, struggling alone with tons of stress, to having community support with way less stress. So it's really up to you today, which path will you choose? And that brings me on to the very exciting surprise that I have for you guys today. You may have seen it mentioned a few places here and there, but on the whole, I tried to keep it special and secret for you guys, only for today and only live now here. So after 4 months, close to new members and a ton of messages and hundreds of people on the wait list, I'm really excited to be announcing today that we are reopening the doors to PPC Profit Mastermind, my community and mastermind. Now, there will only be limited spots, so we're only accepting a small group of committed specialists today to join the mastermind. And this is really time sensitive. So if you're interested, please listen carefully to this section, because this opportunity closes very soon on March the 10th, or whenever we fill up those limited spots, whichever comes first. So if you haven't seen PPC Profit Mastermind before, this is the private community for Google Ads specialists who want more. It's a comprehensive support system designed to help you implement those 3 mindset shifts that we talked about today, right? It's not just training, it's a transformation. And if you know anything about me, you'll know I always focus on implementation, accountability, and real world results, not just theory, right? And this community is going to be for action takers only. So it's really designed for specialists that are serious about breaking through to the next level. So what's inside? We've got group coaching and support, Q&A calls, and direct access to me and expertise. We have a private mastermind community, which is really awesome. So you can network with elite specialists worldwide, globally. And we have a complete training library. So comprehensive resources, systems, frameworks for every challenge that you might face as a Google Ads specialist. And we have systems and templates ready to implement at any time. We also have referral opportunities that have been so great for so many of our members so far. And I really believe this is just the beginning and we're just getting started with this. So you can access overflow work from me and other specialists inside the community with referrals, and specialized project referrals for special niches or special challenges or projects. We have real-time problem solving, so you can get answers to your toughest challenges in minutes, not days or weeks or months. And just to show you a little bit, a sneak peek of this complete training library and systems, we have so much in here to help you with any challenge you may face as a Google Ads specialist. So we have A to Z SOPs and templates. We've got content to client system for your LinkedIn and your personal branding. We have the client clarity system. So this is your framework for setting expectations and delivering predictable success for your clients. We have the reality engineering course, which is advanced techniques for engineering real world client success. That's a really, really cool course. One of my favorites, actually. And we have Budget Flow Blueprint, step-by-step system for the budget flow mindset that I mentioned earlier. We have so much more inside, and we have even more coming in 2025 that I'm really excited to share with you guys. We've had so many amazing real member transformations. We've been closed now for more than 4 months to focus on the current members, right? We've had people like Jan, who says undervalued is an understatement about the community. We've got people like Ben, who's had so much clarity, and members like Robin, who had no idea how much speaking to somebody a few steps ahead would help him. Now, I invite you to join the community today. And your investment today will be just a one-time joining fee of $299, and then a monthly payment of £79 from month 2 to keep your membership. Now, to put this in perspective, the cost of one client mistake could cost you thousands in wasted ad spend, right? The value of one new client, which we've seen so many times inside the mastermind, just one referral can generate 10 times your investment in this program. And other typical coaching programs similarly cost 10,000 plus for less support and systems, right? And even Jan's saying here, the value I've received is easily 100 times what I've invested. So the choice is yours. You can stay with the old way, struggle alone, have a loop of optimizations that you're unsure of and don't have confidence in. You can chase tactics without strategy and you can grow slowly. Or you can step into the new way together with a strategic roadmap approach community of elite specialists, master the fundamentals, and have accelerated, predictable client growth. So I hand it over to you and ask, which will you choose? So if you're interested in joining the mastermind, you can join today. Again, this is limited spots only. So we have a very small allocation of spots to join the mastermind, and this offer will end on March 10th. So in 7 days, as I said, it will end on March the 10th or when the spots are closed, whichever comes soonest. So if you're interested in this, please do head over and secure your spot now at ppcprofitclub/mastermind to lock in your membership before prices increase. Upon approval, you'll get access to everything we've mentioned today and so much more in 2025. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you inside the mastermind. Now, I just want to remind you of the transformation that awaits, right? This is really the difference between staying stuck and breaking through with these mindset shifts. And you don't have to do it alone, right? Please don't struggle alone. You can join a community of specialists who have already walked this path. And this is really why I built this community. I saw so many people struggling alone, and I really wanted to help them. So the time is now. Take action today to create the Google Ads career and life you've always wanted. So visit /mastermind to secure your spot before March 10th. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you soon.